Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of me just talking about life. And this video is about just slowing down and just allowing yourself to just be. Now so many people, especially people my age, just do too much. And what I mean by that is that we don't stop to just be, just breathe, just take in life in certain moments. I feel like in our everyday lives, especially in today's world, with work, school, friends, relationships, whatever that you have going on in your life, whatever responsibilities that you have, people are so focused on doing. And what I mean by that is you're always thinking of the next thing, right? For a lot of my early teens, I'm now 17, a lot of my early teens and mid-teens, I was so focused and anxious and quite frankly scared of the future, as most young people are. You know, being a kid, life is so simple, and during your teen years, growing up, you get spoon-fed this simplified reality of what the world is and what the world's going to look like, what your adult life is going to look like, just what the future holds for you. And what I've learned through talking to some older people who have lived their whole life just doing, constantly moving on to the next task, constantly working towards something, constantly using all of their energy, try to accumulate something and try to make their way in the world, right? As is natural. A lot of people find that they've wasted their life in a way. We've all heard sayings, take time to smell the roses, but I don't think a lot of us really listen to that. You see old people in parks and stuff. It's a cliche, you know? Just an old man, old woman sitting on their porch steps, sitting in the park, just sitting wherever and just being. And now we take that as something that old people do because I guess they have nothing else going on or whatever. But that's because they've already lived their life of just doing constantly, and they've realized that the best pleasures in life are just sitting and just being with your own thoughts, or even better, sitting down and letting your thoughts intermingle with that of a close friend, family member, lover, whoever. And to me, those are the moments that mean the most in life. Now, I can spend my whole life working my ass off. I could spend my whole life being stressed about my annoying little brother. I could spend my whole life always looking for the next thing to do. But what I found is that that just brings nothing but anxiety and just a sense of no direction. But I feel like what some of us fail to realize is that no direction is a direction. You know, I've always been fascinated, at least in these past few years as I've gotten older, with just the concept of just a wanderer. Somebody who isn't tied down necessarily by things such as work, school, those things that we are taught to focus on so much in life, but truly don't matter really as much as we say they do. And I'm not saying don't work. I'm not saying don't try in school or just like don't go to school, right? I'm not saying that. But there's a balance. When you have a moment of just silence, just being alone with yourself, not doing anything, I find that life becomes a whole lot less stressful and just more beautiful, and you really appreciate those moments more. Especially in today's world, where it's so easy to be overloaded with stimulation all the time. Think about TikTok, for example, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels. Short form content like that I feel like has made it much worse. Nowadays, we're never really alone with our thoughts. Whenever we get a chance to just be alone and just be, we spend that with feeding ourselves this endless slop content. You find that you never feel rested. I've gone through, of course, periods, as most people my age have, where it's just like, you go to school, go through your day at school, maybe you have a job, you go to work, and then every free moment you spend, you're just like scrolling on your phone. And this video isn't sitting here shitting on phones and whatever content and all that, that's not what I'm saying, but it is a big issue. You know, as a child, I don't agree with most of the things that my father did, but something that I am happy that he did is taking my electronics, taking my toys, taking my Legos. Yeah, it sucked. Of course it sucked. I want to play on my Wii U. I want to play on my DS. I want to play on my Xbox. I want to play with my Legos. I want to play with my toys. I want to do all these different things. But he would tell me, read a book, go outside, ride your bike, things like that. And I found that when I would get my electronics and whatnot taken for like a week, I felt better about life. I had more energy. Don't think I didn't get bored or like I was happy not having anything to do, but it really made you just like appreciate life more. I don't really know what else to say besides that. And you hear certain things like, oh, take a walk, start hiking, work out, ride your bike. I mean, go on a drive. Those things are all good. But until you commit to just being in life, I feel like you'll never really get the chance to really enjoy that solitude and really just enjoy what the world has to offer. Sometimes it's way better to just sit on your back deck, like I'm doing right now, and just thinking or just talking. I mean, that's the best part of life, I feel like. I mean, in a degree, it's kind of why I started smoking cigarettes. Now, I'm not. But when I did, it was because it really just gave me a chance. It really just gave me something to do, like I keep saying. Something to do that wasn't really something to do. Because I would go outside, right, and I wouldn't listen to music. Sometimes I would, but most of the time I wouldn't listen to music. I wouldn't really do anything. I would just sit, just think, while I puffed away at my cig. And that was a really nice part of my day. I was really relaxing and just like, it felt fulfilling. Which is interesting, because we're taught that the most fulfillment is in making progress with things. But I feel like striking a good balance between the two brings a lot more fulfillment. You can really find a lot of value in just not doing anything. I mean, truly. You can learn a lot about yourself and the type of person you are. You can sort through issues in your life when you just sit outside and just smell the roses. You know what I mean? It might not be easy at first if you're used to constantly being entertained, constantly looking for some sort of stimulation, but you really should just try to just for one day, 2 days, 3 days, just sit outside, you know what I mean? Just sit in nature, look at the clouds, look at the trees, look at the grass. Hell, you could even lay in the grass. I like doing that sometimes. In life, you can run all the time. You can run constantly. But what happens is, when you run constantly, eventually your legs start to get tired. Your chest starts to burn. You're out of breath. We, as people, try to keep running, even when we should really just sit down and take a rest. Because when you keep running past the point where your legs get tired, two things can happen. Either you slow down to a meandering jog, and you're not really making much progress. You're sitting there heaving and or your legs can give in and you can fall flat on your face, and then you eat shit. You might hurt yourself that way. I find that when you stop to just sit down, rest, and let yourself catch your breath after that long run, you can run much better. You can allocate that energy and be a much better, faster runner, and you can run for way longer in the long run if you just sit down and let yourself catch your breath every once in a while. But if you're always running, your legs are going to give in, and God forbid one day you won't be able to run much anymore because you overdid it. And that's what burnout is. I feel like a lot of us, whether we know it or not, we're suffering from an extreme sense of just burnout. Of course, there's all of our responsibilities, all of the things that we spend our time with, our energy with, but then there's also things like the news and the political state of the world and things like that we also worry about, that we really have no control over. Sometimes it's good to focus on those things, it's good to run, but we overdo it. And we suffer from this intense burnout, and then you can't do what you need to do as well as you might have been able to if you just stopped, sit down, and just... Things will come to you as they're meant to come to you. I feel what most of us should strive for is a sense of stability. I'm not saying be stagnant in life, but be stable. Make a stable sense of progress. Make goals for yourself that are actually attainable, and you can actually focus on one thing to actually get to that goal eventually. And that may sound basic, but if you don't got no destination on your map and you're just driving, where are you really going? You know what I mean? We get so focused on driving and not so much about where we're actually trying to go. Because you can drive, you can make progress, but if you don't have a destination in mind, then you get lost. Of course you get lost. There isn't much else that I can really say about this, but the gist of this video is just to slow down sometimes. What, you know, I mean, I can't tell you what to do. I'm a nobody. You're just finding my video on my random ass YouTube channel, but just sit down, you know, just go outside, just sit and just like think. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however long you feel like you want to. Just be. Get comfortable just being with your own thoughts. You are not a separate entity from the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself. And that's what I want to end this video off with. Stay safe, everyone. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.